Welcome back to the Morning Mayhem, folks. It's your boy Chris coming at you with another episode. Super excited to have you guys with me this week. Got a few things we're going to go over. Not a lot of the political stuff today. It's going to be great. Kind of moving away from that a little bit. Not that I have a problem covering politics or anything like that. Definitely going to be jumping back into politics on a regular basis. Just it's nice to get away from it every now and then. There's so much going on, but there's so much uncertainty right now. If I record the show and say one thing now, by the time the show goes up, things could have quickly changed on several fronts and several stories that I was looking at. So we're not going to do all that. Going to do some entertainment news pretty much exclusively on this episode here. And I'm excited about that because as an independent filmmaker, as a fan of film, cinema, art in general, this is kind of my bread and butter. This is where I really find my comfort level here. Definitely don't mind talking about politics, as you guys know, and definitely don't mind going toe-to-toe with folks. If you follow me on X, you know I'm quite outspoken there when I decide to speak up. I'm not very, very active on X, but when I am, you know. But anyways, guys, hey, guys, welcome back to the show. If you're a returning sub, a follower, or whatever, depending on whatever platform you're on, you're watching down here. If you're returning and you're not a sub or a follower, hey, just glad you're here. Appreciate you coming back. I want to say about 80% of the people, it was 85%, I don't know. Anyway, 80% or so of the people that watch that are returning viewers are not subbed or following. So if that's you, maybe today's the day I earn that sub. If I'm covering something you enjoy, cool. Let's do it. If this is your first time watching, glad you're here. Hope you enjoy it. Again, today's going to be kind of a short show. We're going to go over some entertainment stuff. Again, not going to get into politics and not going to be a very long show. I say that a lot, but and then they tend to be the normal length. But today's show is going to be fairly short for, again, several reasons. But yeah, if this is your first time, I do cover all kinds of news, stories and whatnot, entertainment news, which is, again, what we're going to dive into today. Me, again, I'm an internationally award-winning filmmaker, and I love film, I love cinema, I love art, I love TV, I love even old school video games and stuff. I'm not a gamer. I got friends that are gamers, and they absolutely kill it in what they do. It's great. I'm not. I think if I wanted to be, I could be, and then I would get sucked into that, and I wouldn't make films. So I can't do that because my undiagnosed ADD won't let me do that, so I have to stay focused. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about that kind of stuff and maybe more. Not today though. Not today. Keeping it simple. Well, guys, let's see. Since what I got here? Oh, since the last show, yeah. So 2 weeks ago, I did take the week off because I had a photography job coming up I needed to prep for, and wouldn't you know it, I got pulled over for a speeding ticket. First time in like probably 10, 15 years I've gotten pulled over for a speeding ticket. Not necessarily the first time I've been speeding in 10 to 15 years. First time I got caught. So anyways, it was crazy because I was pulled over like maybe 20 yards away from where the speed limit jumps up to where I would have been fine. It's almost like they did that on purpose.
The reason I'm stopping you is for speeding, sir.
No, sir.
Where you're going that fast.
No, sir, I didn't.
May I see your license, please?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No problem. Hang on just 1 second. There you go, sir. Will this work for you? I can't seem to find my license, but...
You have a good day, sir.
Thank you, officer. I appreciate it very much. Have a good day.
But I was actually doing a photography job for a nonprofit fundraiser. On the way there, I could see the church that they were doing it at, and then got pulled over. That's my luck, though. So who knows? Maybe on the next live stream, which is coming up, by the way, May 5th, 10 p.m. May 5th, 10 p.m. We'll have the next Monday Night Mayhem live. I don't have my panel put together yet, but I have in mind who I'm going to have on that panel. And we'll be putting that together and announcing that before too long, because that'll be here before you know it. But maybe on the next live stream, we can do a little crowdfund to help me try to pay off that ticket, and kind of keep going with all this, because everything else here, costs money. So, it'd be great not to have to worry about that ticket. Probably would have been smart not to speed, but that's just me. Whatever. What are you gonna do? But yeah, so that happened. And you know what else happened since the last show? My wife and my mother-in-law, they met Ian Somerhalder, aka Damon Salvatore, from the Vampire Diaries, a show that my wife's watched for a while. She got her mom into, and yeah, they met Ian Somerhalder, and I have felt less adequate ever since. But hey, the world goes on, right? He's happily married. I'm not worried about anything. I am trying to get back in the gym, though, you know. I keep guns going. Anyways, so super happy for them. I think it was great. My wife asked me, she said, did you tell anybody I met him? And I was like, not yet. And I haven't done a show since, you know, you met him and everything. So I told her I'd throw that out there. I think that's pretty cool. I took her to, she likes Vampire Diaries and that whole series and everything. So I took her to a con 2 years ago, I think it was. I don't think it was last year. I think it was 2 years ago. We went to a con that was in Conyers, Georgia, which is where they shot a lot of the New Orleans scenes for the originals, which is a spinoff of the Vampire Diaries. So there was a huge con there. She got to meet several of the people, get autographs and everything, and everybody was super cool. And just seeing her enjoy that was awesome. Now, I've never been to any kind of con of any sort. I'm looking forward to going. I know some of the folks that I stream with, a lot of the folks that Sean streams with over on Third Railify, they went to a meetup, not necessarily like a con, but a meetup with other creators and folks with like the Geeks and Gamers Squad and all those guys out there in Vegas. I'm not mistaken. And had a great time out there. And I know they all go to like cons and stuff together too. So one day I'm going to go. I'm going to go out and meet up with them in Vegas or go to a con or do something like that fun. I think that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, one day it's going to be me. I'm going to go have me some fun. But speaking of Sean, Third Railify, of course, you guys can catch me Saturday night on Off the Rails over on Third Railify's channel. This week, we're going to have Iron Oxide and his lovely wife, Scream Queen Selena. They have their own show, at least one show. I think they have their own show, and then they're on a bunch of other folks, kind of like what we do, you know, all over the place. But a lovely couple, really cool, really cool. And I haven't streamed with them myself personally, but interacted with them in the chats while Sean's been streaming with them, or they've been streaming with Sean, whatever. And yeah, just super cool folks. Can't wait to talk to them, get to know them a little bit better. So we're going to do that Saturday night. If you're watching this on Friday, of course, that is tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern time, over on Third Railify's channel. The link for that will be in the show notes below. Go check it out. Would love to see you there. All right, guys, I think that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got on today's show. Jesus shows out at the box office. I was there. I loved it. It was awesome. Can't wait to talk about that. Retro game movie coming from Michael Bay and Sydney Sweeney. What a team up that's going to be. And a White Lotus actress throws temper tantrum and shade at everyone. Yeah, so even without me saying yet, I'm sure you probably know exactly who I'm talking about, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Yeah, really short show this week. Only a few segments, not, 5, 6, whatever I normally run. So we're going to get in, get out. And before we do, of course, we've got to take a look at the clip of the week.
You remember the bunny with Joe Biden? Remember? You remember when the bunny took Joe Biden out? He's not taking Trump out. Anyway, that was a beautiful moment when the bunny saved Joe Biden.
Yes, Joe Biden always needed somebody to save him, didn't he? But love that clip. It said, what a difference a year makes. And of course, yes, we're talking about the last year of Biden, the first year of Trump. And again, yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people have their issues with what's going on now. And again, everything is so up and down and all over the place. It's hard for me to really cover anything in depth at the moment. Trump is pretty much throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks is what it seems like. I ain't mad at him, but yeah, it's a lot to cover. And I would recommend, if I could, Handy News. Handy News, I have mentioned before on the show, and I've had on the show. Handy and his lovely wife, Da, have been on the show. And, yeah, they do a daily show twice a day. They do a morning show, or it's noon where I'm at, and then an evening show. And they cover the latest of what's going on in news. I've got other people I could recommend too, but I mean, these guys are 2 shows a day covering so many of the headlines as they're coming out, as they're changing. So go check those guys out. They're just absolutely fantastic. If you're wanting to stay on top of that stuff. Again, with me, I have a weekly show. It's kind of hard to keep up with some of that stuff, but yeah, I love that clip right there. And I do have to give, obviously, a big shout out to the one that submitted it, and that is our good friend Leah. Leah is always killing it in the clip of the week submissions. Leah, love you, girl. Had a great conversation with her, gotten to know her a little bit better. And man, you know, I am so grateful for all you guys that are watching. If I've gotten to know you over the last year, in the chats and the comments over on X or whatever, I'm just so grateful for each and every one of you. Leah's been a great friend, and she always comes through with the clips of the week, always gives me a variety to choose from, so I appreciate that. But yeah, I appreciate you, Leah, and I appreciate anyone else who wants to submit clips, and you can always submit a clip. You don't necessarily have to wait for me to do the call of the clip of the week, but I do a clip of the week call on usually Mondays. I'll throw out a post on Monday over on X for a clip of the week submission, and that doesn't have to be anything specific. It can be interesting, it can be funny, it can be educational, it can be topical, it can be old school. It doesn't matter. If I find it fun, or if I find it like it fits in with the stories that I'm going to go over, or whatever, it just tickles me the right way, I'll throw it in the show and I'll give you a shout out. Again, it's just another way for me to kind of interact with you guys as best I can, especially since these are not live streams that are going out on a weekly basis. But that's our clip of the week. And again, Leah, thank you so much for that, ma'am. You rock. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get into our first segment today. We are going to talk about Jesus showing up and showing out at the box office. And like I said earlier, I was there. I was there the second weekend and saw King of Kings. Me and the wife, we went out there. My daughter didn't feel like going. She was actually not feeling well that Saturday. And then come Easter Sunday that morning, she was still not feeling well. And my wife texted me while I was at a sunrise service. My wife texted me. She goes, "Uh-oh, we got a problem." And she's in the bathroom, you know, not feeling well, which of course we know what that means. But yeah, so I was kind of bummed out. They didn't get to join me for church on Easter. And, you know, even more so, I hate that she felt bad. I don't like my wife or my daughter feeling bad. And I don't think any of you guys like anyone that you care about feeling bad. So, you know, kind of suck. But everyone's better now. Everything's good. But yeah, so me and the wife went and saw King of Kings. And, you know, it's animated child's movie. But I will say that my allergies and her allergies were acting up a few times watching that movie. It was so well done. It really was. I've got a couple of little gripes about a couple of things here and there, but it wasn't like anything that was a deal breaker. It wasn't anything major like some of these other movies that are going out. We'll talk about a couple of those. But I really thought that Angel Studio did a fantastic job with this. With the promotion, I was thrilled with it because they promoted it well. And a lot of Angel Studio films come out, or these smaller studios, or, you know, religious films come out, and there's really not a lot of backing and promotion, marketing or whatnot. And I felt like there was an adequate amount for King of Kings. So they definitely put it out there. Great voice actors that were involved. Just an incredible lineup. I'm surprised that it didn't cost more to make. But it was so well done. I've got to give them all the props for that. So let's look at a couple of things real quick. Again, they showed out. Now, that they were not number one at the box office, but they were number two at the box office, oddly enough, when we went and saw it, which was the second weekend. I think the first weekend and the second weekend, they were both number two at the box office those 2 weekends. Could be wrong about that one. Don't fact check me on that one quite yet. But fact check me on all this. So this is over on Box Office Mojo. I often use them as a reference for numbers. So King of Kings, if you're not sure what that is a religious film. It's an animated film from, just said them, Angel Studios. And Oscar Isaac does the voice in there. Pierce Brosnan's in there. Even Mark Hamill. Shocking to me. Of course, he sounded kind of like the Joker, which I guess is kind of his one voice. But hey, if you do something well, you know, why not change it, right? But yeah, it's a very, very good film. It's Charles Dickens' story to his children about who the King of Kings is, of course, who is Jesus Christ. And like I said, me and the wife saw Easter weekend, which is the second weekend. So link for this and all links I'm going to use are down in the show notes below, so you can go and check it out a little bit more thorough. At the time of this recording, it has domestically pulled in almost $50 million and internationally $52 million, which you kind of expect from these kind of studios and these kind of films. They may not do great worldwide, but again, it is always kind of a toss-up. You never really know what's going to catch, but for the most part, films like this, you're going to get your biggest bang here domestically, which, hey, maybe we're going to see a change in a lot of other films if China's not taking them anymore, right? On Disney, Marvel, huh? All right, let's keep rolling. So here's our day-to-day breakdown. Not huge losses here and there of differences. Wrong column. Sorry. For week to week. So something I did do, and you can see it here from week to week, they were down. Had a 5.4% drop, 2.8% drop, 22.1% drop on Easter Sunday. Of course, that's Easter Sunday. Don't know how theaters usually are there. But yeah, took all that. I did the math. You can go back and fact check me. So this is about a 9% drop. Okay. From weekend to weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Or it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I don't know why Friday's not showing up in here. There is a Friday. Let me scroll again. Yeah, there is a Friday. Maybe it's because I'm zoomed in a certain way. I don't know. But there is a Friday. And Friday, Saturday, Sunday, compared to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, only a 9% drop weekend to weekend, which is great for a film that's in the box office, especially this kind of film. It's fantastic. It's got legs. Less than a 10%, less than double digits of a drop is always fantastic to see. It was in theaters at the same time as Snow White, which everyone loves, right? No one likes this movie. Okay, now it's done $85 million domestically, $195 million almost worldwide, which sounds great, but my understanding is like a $200 million budget or something nuts like that. I don't know. This movie needed to make $500 million to $1 billion, somewhere in that ballpark before it ever actually made any money. And it does not look like it's getting there. I heard Jeremy over at Geeks and Gamers said it'd be great to hit 199. That would be kind of funny. But I'm okay if they don't even get that high. Anyways, if we look at their numbers, of course, you see huge drops from weekend to weekend here. Friday's showing there for them. I don't know why. But huge drops from weekend to weekend. And I actually, again, did the math. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday totals from weekend to weekend. You're looking at a 66% drop from the first weekend, opening weekend, to the second weekend. 66% drop. That's pretty significant. Very significant. When you hear numbers like that, you start thinking of the Marvels. You start thinking of, what was it? Eternals. I don't know. Pretty much a lot of the Marvel movies that have been coming out lately. I think that Buzz Lightyear movie, so many films that have been coming out just dropping like that because the word of mouth is so awful, right? Let's take a look at a Minecraft movie. Minecraft movie is #1 movie of the year right now. And you've probably seen all the clips of, Chicken Jockey and everything that's going on in the theaters for that. And that's kind of cool. I mean, I hate they're making a mess and doing all that stuff, but it's cool they're getting into it, right? I mean, why not? But if we look at their numbers, let me not pass it. I mean, obviously they're doing great. 353 million. Domestic, 727 million worldwide. They'll hit $1 billion, probably. Well, I say that. Maybe. We shall see. Let's see. So you see the drops here. Definitely bigger numbers here than we had on King of Kings, but very similar to Snow White. But when you do the math, it's actually a 52% drop from weekend to weekend. So from the first weekend to the second weekend, it was a 52% drop for a Minecraft movie, 66% drop for Snow White. So yes, Snow White dropped more, but Minecraft dropped 52%, which is not awesome, but it could have been worse. It could have been Snow White, right? But again, if you go back and you look at, I almost said The Case for Christ. If you go back and look at King of Kings, it was only a 9% drop. 9% drop, and this movie is still doing well. Even if we go on to where we're at in the week so far, it's still doing pretty good. Still doing very good. Now, when you look at the numbers here, King of Kings is only grossing, so far a little over 50 million worldwide. Pales in comparison to Snow White in a Minecraft movie, right? But if you remember when Endgame came out, huge movie. What was it? $2 billion or something like that, right? It came out at the same time as Joker did. Joker did not make as much money. They did not gross as much money, but Joker was more profitable than Endgame. I don't know about now, since it's been a little while and, streaming and all this and that or whatever. I don't know. But at the box office, Joker was more profitable because you had the smaller budget, bigger turnaround on the box office. They were more profitable. King of Kings right now has made back their money and then some, because I haven't found official, but through searching, it looks like the rumored budget was only $15 million for King of Kings. So if they've made over 50 million, even with marketing, they've well made back their money and then some. So King of Kings is doing great. Snow White, I don't even know if they made back their budget yet or not. You know what I'm saying? Minecraft movie's doing fine. It's doing great. But yeah, there's a lot of movies that aren't making their budget back. King of Kings being one of them is great. Again, a lot of these movies never make their money back. So it's really good to see a film like King of Kings. And of course, the studio, Angel Studios, just doing an absolutely amazing job with their films. I know they've got their own online streaming platform. I have not watched anything from there yet, but I know Dry Bar is affiliated with them in some way, and they're like a clean stand-up comedy thing. And good friend Chris Clark, who I've gotten to know pretty good through the interwebs, and met a couple times in person. He toured with the Hodge Twins is how I met him, but he works with them on their podcast. He does his own stand-up and everything. He had a special on Dry Bar, and I highly recommend it. Was trying to get him on the show. When that special dropped, because I said I would. And the week that I was going to, the Hodge Twins studio actually flooded. So they had to take everything out and move into another studio temporarily till they got everything cleaned up. So as it works out sometimes, things just don't work out sometimes. But I watched it. It was really, really good. And actually can't wait to connect with him again. And talk with him about what I thought about the special. But yeah, Dry Bar, Angel Studios, they're doing great stuff. I would definitely go support them if you can. But let's see. To close out the segment, I do have to share one of the best clips I've seen in the last couple of weeks from the trolling of the Snow White movie. You guys have probably seen this one. If you haven't seen this one specifically, I'm sure you've seen other clips that are very, very similar to it. But without any further ado, probably one of my favorite ones that I've seen. Here you go.
I just kind of want something other to eat.
Well, what would you like?
You got any biscuits for sale in there?
Well, no, this here's a Frosty Cream. We don't serve biscuits. We got a lot of other stuff, though.
What you got in there is good to eat?
Well, we got Big Chief Burgers, Bongo Burgers, Footlongs, Corny Dogs, Frosty Shakes, Creamy Bars. Did you want me to go through the whole list?
Reckon what you like to eat in there?
Well, the French fries are pretty good.
French fried potatoes?
Yep, French fries.
How much you want for them?
Well, they're 60 for the medium and 75 for large.
I reckon I'll have me some of the big ones.
I love that for a few reasons. One, and there's that other woman who's done the, sticking the, chin out and everything, mocking Rachel Zegler and everything, which is just great. Absolutely great. She deserves to be trolled. I'm not the biggest fan of trolling people necessarily, but she deserves to be trolled. In this case, I believe. But then I do love Sling Blade. I thought that was a fantastic movie. Even the dialogue there, it was great. And I like them French fried potatoes. Mm-hmm. I do. I think Billy Bob Thornton did a great job with that, and I actually want to watch that movie again. It's been a while. I need to go check it out. What'd you kill Jesse for? What'd you kill Jesse for? Great movie, fantastic movie. All right, folks. Sydney Sweeney is at it again. Now, not showing off what the good Lord has blessed her with. No. Actually, she's back in the producer seat. So we've covered her a few times on the show, and I was specifically giving her props for being proactive behind the camera. Of course, we see her in front of the camera all the time, the shows, the SNLs, the whatever. But she's a producer too. She has her own production company, and was it Immaculate? I think was one of the ones that she did, and me and the wife watched that. We enjoyed it. And I know she's got some other stuff going out there too, but I just thought it was cool because she's young lady, beautiful, one of the it girls right now, I guess you would say, and she's got a lot going for her, where she can just kind of ride that gravy train, and the in front of the camera, success and whatnot. But she's getting in the producer's chair, so it's great to see that. I think that's fantastic. I have a huge respect for people who realize that it's not just about being in front of the camera, that there's so much that happens behind the camera, that it needs people that have that eye, people that have that passion. And so she apparently is one of them. I've given her props before for it. I'm going to give her props again for it. This is a cool little story I ran across over on Deadline. Let's see. I'm going to pop this guy up. Yeah, so she's teaming up with Michael Bay. Now, to be fair, it's not just the two of them. They're not alone in this. There's other folks producing and whatnot. But it says, again, from Deadline News, it says, Michael Bay and Sydney Sweeney team up, or team on movie adaptation of Outrun, video game at Universal. There's a little image there in the background. Do you guys remember that game? It was an arcade game. Now, I don't know if it came on Sega. I didn't have a Sega. I had Nintendo. And then I had PlayStation. And then my brother had Nintendo 64 and stuff. So we were Nintendo, PlayStation folks. Never had the Sega. I did have a Sega. Was it Game Gear? I had the Game Gear. And man, I wish you wish you had your old stuff. I know some of you guys probably do. I got my Talk Boy, if that means anything. Talk Boy. You guys remember that? Classic. Got to look. Of course, from a movie that Donald Trump was into. Just point that out. And that was actually going to be a story I was going to cover last week, was Christopher Columbus being the filmmaker behind Home Alone 2. He's like, oh, I can't take Trump out. He might deport me. Whatever. People have no spines and no sense. But anyways, back to this. Yeah, I remember this game at the arcade, playing it a lot. Now, I don't remember like if there's a story to it or anything. Like Grand Theft Auto has a story, Mario has, a story. I can't remember if this was just racing or what. I feel like it was just racing. So a couple of thoughts with this, and I'll read a little bit here, and then I'll give you my thoughts. It said, with the Minecraft movie owning the box office over the past month and HBO The Last of Us returning with a bang, Universal is looking to add its own video game adaptation to the mix with the help of two big superstars. Sources tell Deadline that the studio is developing a feature adaptation of Sega's iconic arcade video game Outrun, with Michael Bay attached to direct and Sydney Sweeney aboard to produce. Jason Rothwell will pen the script. Bay will also produce alongside partner Brad Fuller through their Platinum Dunes banner, which has a first look deal with the studio. The project is in development as of right now. Sweeney is only on board to produce. Toru Nakahara, Maybe I said that right. Don't know if I did. Shout out, Chris. Sonic the Hedgehog 1 through 3 Knuckles Golden Axe will also produce for Sega, and Shuji Utsumi, President COO of Sega Corp, will oversee the project on behalf of Sega. So I think that's really cool. You know, you have all those hands in there. I just hope they don't all get in the way. And of course they will. But hopefully, you know, Sega will make sure it stays true to form and everything like that. So I don't know. We'll see. But Toru Nakahara. Cool name, man. Cool name. Anyway, it says plot details are vague. Sega's Outrun series is a franchise that originated from some of the most successful arcade games in the world during the 1980s. The game pioneered a new genre of driving games and spawned an electronic music subgenre aptly called Outrun. The unique combo made it a worldwide hit. Since then, numerous installments have been released, including home console versions, and it continues to be one of Sega's flagship franchises. While the industry is having a moment with video game adaptations, Universal is no stranger to adapting them into hit movies. Outrun is slated to follow the Super Mario Bros. Movie and Five Nights at Freddy's, which grossed $1.4 billion and $290 million, respectively, in global box office. Sweeney may be one of the town's busier stars in front of the camera, but over the past year has become active on the producing front as well. She recently produced and starred in her neon horror pick, Immaculate. Again, we enjoyed it. And is also producer on the Christy Martin biopic, in which she also stars. Never heard of that one. Bay Fuller and Platinum Dunes have also been busy recently producing A Quiet Place, Day One. They also produced the thriller Drop alongside Blumhouse. I do like me some Blumhouse now. Yada, 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 yada. That's it. Okay. So, here's my opinion on it, or my thoughts on it, right? So if you have an established IP, right? Like the comic books have so much lore and so much backstory and so much you've got to like stick with to please those fans. And there's detail, so much comics. With a game like, say, Grand Theft Auto, again, there's so much story there, so many characters there. You know, if you could definitely stay true to it and make a great film, which I'm waiting for somebody to offer that gig to me, because I think I could do that. I've enjoyed those Grand Theft Auto games, you know what I'm saying? Call me. But as far as Outrun goes, again, I don't remember there being much of a story other than you're just racing. But it to be fair, it's been a while. If that's all it is, there's a couple things here. One, there is a story, and they're going to try so hard to stick to it that it may be dated, it may not fit, it may not work. I don't know, there may not be enough of a story there where they really struggle, or there's not enough of a story there and they really get to play ball and just be creative and again, throw something at the wall and see what sticks. And take that old, you know, video game, the old concept of everything, and run with it in a really unique, really cool way. This Michael Bay we're talking about definitely has a way of doing that. Of course, we've seen with the Transformers what he's done there, which is just a meme, but it's great. I love Bad Boys. He did fantastic with Bad Boys, and there's other films too. But yeah, you know, I think there's a lot of potential with this if you put the right minds in place and the right creativity behind it. And again, I would love to see, and I don't just, again, I hate to keep throwing her out there because she's, you know, this haughty actress or whatever, but you know, she's proving that she's more than that. And she's proving that she's passionate about art. And maybe it's just passionate about making money. I don't know. But she's passionate about making art and making art happen. And that's a huge thing. And again, as an independent filmmaker, you know, that's a huge part of it, is finding people who support you and support your vision enough to back you, either personally, financially, or help get the funds for you, or help, you know, allocate and get all the things that you need. Huge. Very rare do you find people like that in your own inner circles. You've got to really, really work hard to find those folks. And I say that some of you watching may be filmmakers are like, I just thought I was going to be a filmmaker on Monday, and by Tuesday I had a feature film in the can. Not me. Been working at it for years. Whatever. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think about this. Do you guys remember Outrun? Is there a story? Am I just not remembering it, which is totally fine, but I don't know. But let me know in the comments if you remember it, if there's a story, what your thoughts are on it. I am very optimistic that we get something, if not great, if not good, entertaining. I'm sure we'll get something entertaining. And you know what? At this point, that's more than what we're getting at the box office for most of these other films. Let me know what you guys think. All right, and our last story for today that we're going to cover is a White Lotus star kind of throwing shade at folks, you know, throwing little temper tantrums and thinking they're special. So we're going to take a look at a couple articles here. Some you're probably familiar with. This one just popped up and I was like, what? Really? Really? I don't even know this chick. All right, but you guys, y'all may know who I'm talking about. This is Amy Lou Wood. She is, we'll see her in a minute in the pictures, of course. Then you'll be like, oh, that one. Yeah, she's from White Lotus and apparently some other stuff too. Anyways, headline from Daily Mail says, Amy Lou Wood throws shade towards Snow White star Gal Gadot by liking social media post about her bad acting following $270 million woke disaster film. Now look, I don't know if she was necessarily celebrating Gal Gadot being a bad actress, which, let's be fair, Gal Gadot is not a great actress. I've mentioned before that I liked her, and I do in certain roles, you know, but again, like as a filmmaker, there's people in our communities that are always like, I want to be an actor. I want to act. I want to act. But as you work with them, you kind of learn their range and you learn what they're good at, and you cast them in those roles, and you don't cast them in other roles that maybe you know they're not going to be strong in. But then other people in the community seem like, ooh, I want to put them in everything. It's like, they're strongest in this. You may want to do that. No, I'm going to put them in everything. It's like, okay. But then they find out real quick, like, oh, he was really just good kind of playing that kind of character. It's like, yeah. Because again, locally, we're not working with professionals or anything like that. But, you know, Gal Gadot, she's a model. She's a good looking woman. And she can act in a certain way. I'll say that. A limited range. Very limited range. Enjoyed her in Wonder Woman. Thought she was great. Anyways, so let's take a look at what she's got going on here. It says, Amy Lou Wood has thrown shade at Snow White star Gal Gadot on social media. The White Lotus star, 31, has publicly expressed her feelings about the Israeli actress' work after liking an Instagram post about her bad acting. Post on Reddit discusses Amy liking the video post that criticizes Gal's acting, expressing empathy for crew members working with her due to wasted time and potential financial hardship. Gal's defining role was in Wonder Woman 2017, and since then she has also starred in Fast and Furious, Death on the Nile, Red Notice. I hadn't seen some of those. Mail Online has contacted Amy and Gal's representatives for comments. Gal's most recent film, Snow White, has been mired in controversy amid the backlash against its woke themes and feud between herself and Rachel Zegler. Again, I've heard that Gal Gadot doesn't win any awards in her acting or singing or lack thereof in the new Snow White movie. But you can pin a lot of the issues on this, the success of this film, on Rachel Zegler and Disney. I mean, sure, Gal Gadot, you know, maybe she didn't, you know, bring it home. But when you look at everything that everybody's complaining about, it is Rachel Zegler and Disney. And I think if it wasn't for that, the movie probably would have been fine. So yeah, if you don't know who Amy Lou Wood is, it's this one. I know you're thinking, Chris, you're being a dick right now. Yes, I am. But I'm doing that for a reason. Because, one, she's making that face. Two, I've got the gap thing going on. I don't have pretty teeth. Right? And I don't care if people make fun of me. I mean, yeah, it kind of stings a little bit, I guess. Like, hey, you know, hey, fatty. Hey, Tubbs. Hey, Gap. Hey, fall in the gap and get stuck because you're fat. You're going bald. Okay, I'm getting too deep. Too deep. Sorry. I was diving into some emotional things. Let me pull myself out. I don't really care. People say stuff. You know, it is what it is. Honest to goodness, I've really only had a handful of haters out of all my videos. And I've got quite a few videos if you go back and look. Only a handful of haters, and they were just hating because of my political views. They never really attacked me so much. So I can't complain. I mean, she's out there more. She's going to be attacked more, but that's kind of part of the job. And I mean, I hate people are mean, but is it the people or is it her and her reaction to things? Let's keep reading a little bit, and I think you're going to see what I'm talking about here real quickly. Let's see. I was scrolling through this article earlier, and I saw this picture of Gal Gadot, and I was like, this is not a good picture. I know y'all are looking at me like, dude, have you seen yourself? Yes, but I'm not Gal Gadot. Hair, makeup, outfit, not super flattering for Gal Gadot, which is shocking. Shocking to say the least. It says Rachel. Talking about Zegler, of course. Rachel Zegler has famously expressed pro-Palestine views, while Gal, in contrast, is a well-known supporter of Israel because she's from Israel. It comes amid claims that Disney has zero faith in the woke Snow White live-action adaptation. Insiders have claimed, of course, they don't, and they've canceled other films already. $270 million remake of the 1937 classic has been beset by multiple controversies, including dumping the traditional sexist romance plot. Sexist, I like how they did that. Romance plot to reimagining the Seven Dwarves as a diverse group of magical creatures of all heights, gender, and race. Of course, they did go back with the dwarves. It's a big thing there. Again, Disney dropped the ball. Disney screwed up. Amid the news, the blockbuster won't have a star-studded premiere like most Disney movies, blah, blah, blah. All right, let's get back to this crazy chick, right? See, that looks great. She looks hot. Amy Lou Wood. Elsewhere, Amy broke her silence and feud rumors with Walter Goggins in a new social media post. So it just seems like Amy Lou Wood has it out for everyone. Who? Everyone! And I've never heard Walter Goggins get out of line or have issues with anybody. The dude's probably one of the hardest working people in Hollywood now. He's got the Righteous Gemstones. He's got Fallout. He's got White Lotus. He's everywhere. He's all over the place. I think the first thing I remember seeing him in, and I like him. I think Walter Goggins is pretty great. First thing I remember seeing him in anyway was House of 1,000 Corpses. And as you guys know, if you've watched the show, you know I'm a fan of that series. But yeah, I thought he was great in that. It was cool. But yeah, and I love Fallout. And I've seen him in some other films too. In fact, he had a film that was released at film festivals that I don't think ever got a theatrical release. And I saw that. He was like a preacher man with a snake and everything. And it was wild. It was nuts. But I saw that as a special release at a film festival. That was pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, I have a problem with Walter Goggins. It seems like this chick does. So yeah, anyways, it says the sex education star plays Chelsea in the third series of the White Lotus, who ends up in a relationship with Walton's character Rick. Despite their on-screen chemistry in Thailand, the pair have reportedly fallen out since filming for the HBO Max series wrapped up. Eagle-eyed fans notice how the pair have unfollowed each other on social media and potentially have each other blocked. Taken to her Instagram on Thursday, Amy shared a piece of fan art by so-and-so on her stories. The impressive drawing shows the actress and the actor during their time together on the show, seemingly suggesting all is now well between them. The post comes just a day after it was reported that the pair will soon be reuniting for a work obligation and suspicions they are embroiled in a feud, CNN reporter so-and-so claimed. The entertainment correspondent said she learned off the record that Amy and Walter may be forced to team up in the coming weeks for a professional matter. I think I'm pretty much wrapped up here. There's one more thing I think I saw. Yeah, and it mentioned the Blake Lively. This article is throwing everybody in there. The Blake Lively issue right here. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I think that's it. So she's got a problem with everybody, right? And then if you don't remember, it was a couple of weeks ago, they did a skit about her on SNL. And she was all upset about that, right? This is from BBC. It Says Amy Lou Wood calls SNL parody mean and unfunny. I didn't watch the skit, so I'm not going to pretend to have any kind of thoughts on that. Other than this, if SNL is making fun of you, you've kind of made it. It's kind of like Weird Al Yankovic covering your song. So she should be excited that she was covered and poked at by Saturday Night Live. Instead, not only was she upset and didn't like the skit, she said, did it say up here? No. I don't know if this article is going to say, but it said in other articles that she wanted an apology. She wanted an apology because SNL made fun of her with the poked out gap teeth look and everything like that. You know what? Pretty accurate. I'm going to pull it back up. Pretty accurate. Pretty accurate if you ask me. And of course you asked me because you're here watching and listening to me. But yeah, I mean, at what point do you just quit bitching and moaning? I mean, she sounds like she's got a problem with, again, everyone. And then even with SNL, she's unhappy with how she was portrayed. Like, get over it. You think Trump was happy about how he was portrayed? Do you think anybody that they dislike is happy about how they're portrayed? And then they don't even dislike this chick. They probably like her. They probably love her. They're probably, 100% in line politically and socially and virtue signal left and right and all over the place together, and singing Kumbaya. And they just made it funny. Which, to be fair, Saturday Night Live has been getting funnier lately, it seems like. It's almost like they figured out the formula, the woke, anti-political, when you demonize half of the country, doesn't work out well for you. So maybe they're getting back on track. We'll see. Again, I don't mind my side getting made fun of and being the butt of the joke, as long as the other side is too. And we're all just having fun. It's all in fun. It's not to be hurtful, spiteful, condemning. Let's just have fun, criticize where criticized is needed and pick, have fun, whatever. Again, one of my favorite shows, probably of all time, that does it so well is South Park. South Park goes after the left, the right, the Christians, the Jews, the Mormons, of course, everybody, and then their goal is to just be funny. I love me some South Park. So plug for South Park, I guess, because they need my plug. They're not already the hugest thing out there, but yeah, I love me some South Park because they just don't care. They're gonna poke fun at everybody in the sake of just having fun, making comedy, making things that are entertaining. It's great to see folks doing that, but man, like you gotta be able to roll with the punches, chick. This chick just, I don't know. I've never seen her act. She may be the greatest actor in the world. Even still, that doesn't excuse just hating everybody. I mean, throwing shade at everybody. Saturday Night Live, Walter Goggins, Gal Gadot. I'm sure there's more out there too. Like you're not even up here. Like, I don't know your name. I'm just now learning your name. Only thing I knew about you was that was it. That's all I knew about you. It's okay, boo-boo. Calm down. You're 31. You've got some time. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. Well, that's it, guys. I appreciate you hanging out with me. Again, like I said, it was going to be a short show today, and I believe I got you out of here on time. Yeah. But yeah, if you hadn't already, please consider following the channel, subbing, liking, sharing, all that good fun stuff, depending on whatever platform you're on. I will ask you again to put the emphasis on sharing, just because I know on a certain platform, I seem to be kind of shadow banned. Some of my videos don't get the rotation that other ones do. And this whole show had very, very little political in it. So this one may be okay. But it seems like when I hit certain people that I mention or certain politics stuff, the videos don't do so well. And I think there's a formulaic thing working there. So if you will, share it with your friends, share it on social media, and let's help build this channel up. Speaking of this channel, when I'm not doing the news and stuff on the Morning Mayhem, I do have my Monday night live streams, which is Monday Night Mayhem Live. Usually have a great panel for that. It's 10 p.m. Eastern time, the first Monday of every month. That is coming up May 5th. is going to be the next one. Outside of that, I have reactions, which I will be having some news coming out very soon about the reactions channel, or Mayhem Reacts, whatever we want to call it, the moniker of Mayhem Reacts. Probably some updates, some news coming out about that very soon that I'll be rolling out to you guys. But I do have some more reactions coming out in this, probably this upcoming week. So be on the lookout for those. But yeah, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. Go check out Pure Blood Media Group. It is news.pureblood.media. Fantastic site for triple fact check sources of all kinds of news articles. You got the TV guide out there that's got all the different creators that rep Pure Blood Media, including myself and Sean over on Third Railify, Handy News that I mentioned earlier. Go support these guys, show them some love. They're at hard work to bring you truth, factual stories out there, whether you like it or not. You know, this is stuff bathed in truth. This is factual information, and there's not enough of it. That's why we do what we do, because we're trying to be another net positive voice out there, spreading the gospel, so to speak, of truth out there into a world that is monopolized by mainstream media that just wants to spit out misinformation and whatever suits their agenda at that moment in time. But anyways, guys, check them out. Don't forget to check out Sean over on Third Railify. Link to his show down in the show notes below, and I will be there as usual, co-hosting Third Railify's Saturday Night Off the Rails every Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern time. Again, this week we do have Iron Oxide, and his wife Selena will be on with us. Thrilled to have those guys on. Can't wait to talk to them. And I think that's pretty much it, guys. Don't forget to leave me some love down in the comments below. And one more time, like, share, subscribe, follow, all that fun stuff. And folks, we will see you on the next one.
All the mamas in the house always got these threats. These threats they don't never do. They don't make no sense. Like, keep on running your mouth, and I'm gonna rip your lips off your face. You're like, when did you ever do that? Say one more thing to me. I'm gonna rip your arm off, beat you to death with it, and sew it back on. You don't have the medical capabilities to do such a thing.